Hello, everyone. I'm Amir Kessler, Director of Product Management at Cover. And today I want to talk about the number one mistake that people usually do when negotiating their terms and conditions of the cyber insurance policy. That number one problem that people usually do in that negotiation step is not using quantification of the risk in the negotiation. Negotiating around your policy terms and conditions of cyber insurance is something that is quantified by definition. You need to understand what exactly coverages you need for each coverage, what should be the deductible, what should be the limit, and the same goes for the policy as a whole. You need to know what are the right terms and conditions. And these terms and conditions are determined by the amount of risk that you expect or the amount of risk that you see for the company. But to be able to compare the risk as you see it to the risk and as the cyber insurance company sees it, they must speak in the same language. So if the insurance company offers the policy in monetized terms, in financial terms like deductible and limit, you should be able to compare that to your view of the risk in the same financial terms, understanding in a quantified way what is your risk. I want to show you today how using quantification can actually help you in a negotiation, help you to understand how well you are covered from your current cyber insurance policy. To do that, I'm going to use Quantum. Quantum covers cyber risk quantification platform, and I'm going to share my screen right now. All right, so this is Quantum, and I'm going to use the cloud software company here as an example. So the first screen of Quantum is all the companies I ran a quantification on in my environment. This is a demo environment. I'm going to click on cloud software. I won't go through all of the features of Quantum. We'll have a different video for that. I just want to talk about the financial exposure tab. The financial exposure tab, what it reflects is it's really the gist of the quantification. It shows how much damage we are estimating a company will suffer next year from cyber events. And that number is just this estimation. It's not just one number. It's actually a full distribution. So the estimation of losing this company of losing $5 million is around 12%, but losing 35 million is around 1%. Now, the reason why we're showing here a full distribution is because our quantification process is based on a Monte Carlo simulation, a simulation in which we simulate next year 10,000 times. Each simulated year is a bit different from the other. Some of the simulated years are severe and many events can happen in them. And some of the events can be a bit more moderate with not a lot of cyber events simulated in them. So by simulating 10,000 ways in which next year can happen, we cover all of the options. So we know that there's a chance that it's not going to be a good year. Of course, there's a chance it's going to be a good year. And this is how we can create a full distribution and show you what are the probabilities of each magnitudes of loss. Now, let's take this graph exactly and project the company's cyber insurance terms and conditions on it to understand how well is it covered. I just need to click on the risk transfer tab here, and that's exactly what we're going to see. So what we're seeing here is the projection of those terms and conditions. The gray line is the deductible, and the red line is the limit. What we're seeing is that the purple part here is the part of the policy that is covered by the policy, and the light purple is the part of the risk that is not covered by the policy because it's under the deductible. And there are even highlights here. There's a 13 probability that your annual losses will exceed the deductible. And the deductible is 4.5 million, and the average annual loss, this is the average amount you would expect to see next year, is much lower. So already here, what we can learn is that on an average year, your policy is not even going to help you because the amount you're expected to lose on an average year is lower than the deductible. This already teaches you something about how well the policy actually covers you. Now, cyber policies, they're not only on the level of the company as an entirety, but they actually are broken down into different coverages. And we show you the same idea for the different policy coverages. This might be a bit messy. Let me just unclick some of the coverages and focus only on, for example, third-party liability. What we can see from the third-party liability focus is that in order to actually reach the deductible, there's a really low chance that from a cyber event, the deductible will be reached for this coverage. There's only a 3% probability of liability events exceeding the event deductible, when you see this, the first thing that should come in mind is, okay, maybe I should lose this coverage. It's not really covering me. It's only covering me in cases of tail events, of really, really bad events. It's not a likely thing to happen. Of course, it's completely dependent on your risk appetite. But one thing to consider here is to completely lose this coverage and save money on the premium. Of course, we can keep talking about it and add more and more coverages and analyze this more. But the concept is that in order for you to know if your policy actually protects you, or maybe you're paying for something that doesn't even help you, or how well you're protected, you'll have to compare apples to apples. You'll have to compare your policy terms and conditions, which are manifested in financial terms, and that could be done only with cyber risk quantification. Thank you very much. I hope this was useful. Goodbye.